What we saw is that in the midst of the oil crisis and the inflation problem, paper assets like stocks got hammered. The stock market fell by 43%, while hard assets actually went up. Real estate prices went up by 10%, which wasn't as much as inflation, but still better than what stocks did, while gold prices boomed. Gold prices went up by 68% during the same time period, which not only beat stocks and real estate, but it also way beat inflation. Why? Because when people are concerned about inflation, we see gold prices generally benefit because people then want to own hard assets and they want to own an inflation hedge. But take a look at what happens as we start to zoom out for a longer period of time. Now, as we zoom out and take a look at what happened 1 decade, 10 years after the oil crisis started, what you see is that now the stock market has gone up. It's gone up by around 54%. But it still is not keeping up with inflation because remember, inflation is 125%, which means the stock market investors are still falling behind while now real estate investors are now ahead. Not a huge amount ahead, but real estate investors are ahead. Hard assets are winning while gold prices are still booming. The gold investors are now way above inflation again, so the hard asset winners have been winning 1 decade out after this oil crisis and the recession that resulted from it. But now things get even more interesting when we take a look out 20 years forward. Now stocks went from last place to first place as an investment because now what we see is that stocks are up 328%. Well above where inflation was over those 20 years. Real estate prices are up 236%, which is also above where inflation is. And gold prices are up 280%, which is still above where inflation is, but now below where stocks are. What we've seen is that over a long period of time, investors win. Stocks, real estate, gold, they all win. But certain win in different phases of our economic cycle. When there are more concerns about inflation, when there are more concerns about the prices of things, hard assets like gold and real estate tend to do better because people want a safe hedge for their dollars. They want a safe place to store their money, so they want an alternative to keeping their dollars. Then when there are less concerns about inflation, less concerns about the dollar, those are the environments where we see the stock market win. But at the end of the day, it is the investors that are winning. It is not the person that is relying on just their salary to survive, because the common theme is the person that's just relying on their income is becoming poor. It doesn't matter over what time period that we see, the average person that's just relying on their salary has become poorer years and decades out, and this trend has not slowed down. It is still going on since, well, the 70s through now. And so if you want to become wealthy, you must be an investor. Now, the difference between something like gold versus stocks and real estate is that your stocks and real estate are working to provide real value, and they also have the ability to provide income. Gold is just a store of wealth. It is a protectionary hedge to protect you against this inflation because people use gold as an alternative way of saving money, a way of saving hard money, you could think of it, because your gold is just sitting there in a vault looking back at you. It's not actually going out and doing anything. When you buy real estate, well, somebody could be living in that property. That could create value. When you buy the Amazon stock, well, that Amazon stock is working to sell a product, is working to produce a profit, which is working to produce a value. And one of the most important economic concepts that we learned, whether it's from the 1970s oil crisis or through the 2020 pandemic, is that inflation has a lag time, somewhere between 6 to 18 months to feel the inflation from some sort of impact. So we saw oil prices spike up because of the conflict in the Middle East in the beginning part of 2026. Well, today we're starting to feel the impact of the inflation due to these higher oil prices. But even if the war ended today and oil prices fell back down today, that doesn't mean that the prices of things are just going to start falling tomorrow, because we still have to deal with the delayed impact of the higher prices of oil and the delayed impact of the higher prices of things because of the conflict of the Middle East. So you can expect many months of continued high prices even after oil prices fall. And that's why the real question and concern that investors should have is not what's going to happen in the economy today because of the conflict in the Middle East, but rather what's going to happen in our economy 6 to 12 months from today because of the conflict in the Middle East and because of the delayed impact of the conflict in the Middle East and because of the delayed impact of the higher oil prices because of the conflict in the Middle East. What is that going to do to our inflation? What is that going to do to asset prices? and what is that going to do for the job market, especially during a time where AI is taking away some jobs in the job market, and during a time where we now have a new chairman at the Federal Reserve Bank who just started on May 15th, 2026, where we could be seeing new money policies. This could mean lowering of interest rates. It could also mean keeping interest rates high. President Trump wants lower interest rates, but those lower interest rates could make the inflation problem worse. And you can see now, if we have a worse inflation problem, how that can create different impacts on our economy. Because of all the changes happening in the economy right now, I'm hosting a live, free, and virtual investor workshop on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon, where I'm going to be going over, number one, how the economy is changing, and number two, how you can build wealth through these changes in the economy. That way you can build wealth outside of just your 401k, outside of just your house, because when you have all these changes happening with money, all these changes happening in our government, all these changes happening with AI and technologies, all of these create panic, but they also create opportunities. And some people are going to become incredibly wealthy because of them. And on June 16th, I'm going to be showing you my firm's research as to where money is moving and how we can create better investment opportunities for you. It's a free workshop and it's live, but you do have to register to reserve your spot because our software has a limited number of people that can actually join us live. And in the past, when I've done these live workshops, we've hit capacity every single time. And as an added bonus, when you sign up for the investor workshop, you're also going to get Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, completely free. It's read by hundreds of thousands of investors every morning. And when you show up live on my investor workshop on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon, you're also going to get a free digital copy of my company's new book, How Money Changed Forever. But to actually get a digital copy of this book, you have to actually show up live on June 16th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, noon. So if you're an investor, I invite you to join me for a live investor workshop on June 16th. If you have not registered yet, again, I have that link for you down in the description below. So what we talked about in this video is that the worst part of an oil crisis from history is not when the oil crisis happens, it's 6 to 12 months after the oil crisis starts. We've seen this in history because in 1973, we saw a similar type of economic situation play out, where the United States was facing an inflation problem because the dollar was taken off of the gold standard in 1971, and then in 1973, the United States entered the Yom Kippur War. Well, after that happened, what we saw is that oil prices spiked up about 300% at its peak. Well, during the first 6 months, we saw the stock market fall, but not anything drastically. We saw the stock market fall by 11% in the first 3 months and a total of 15% over the 6 months after the war started, and that was when now the oil crisis had ended, because that was when the oil embargo ended and all the oil conflict everybody thought was over. But the stock market continued falling, and so did the economy. We saw the stock market fall by 26% over the course of 9 months and then 43% over the course of a year. And now the United States was in a full-fledged recession. Unemployment was rising, and it caused a lot of pain in the economy. Well, today in 2026, we have some similarities. We have been facing an inflation problem because of the pandemic in 2020 and because of all the money printing that came as a result of it. And then in 2026, the United States entered war in the Middle East when the United States attacked Iran. Well, this caused oil prices to skyrocket. We saw oil prices jump up by around 96% at its peak. Today it's much lower as there are the hopeful peace talks that are going on in the Middle East. But over the first 3 months, we've actually seen the stock market stay essentially flat. Again, now the question is, what are we going to see happen next? When is the conflict going to end? And what's going to happen 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now? Are we going to see any sort of repeat of what happened in the 1970s? And the reason why this matters is because we saw some people become wealthier than others as a result of what happened in the 1970s. Why? Well, we can just take a look at how money changed and how asset prices changed. What we saw is that inflation really ramped up as a result or partially due to the higher oil prices. It was also partially due to the money printing. But what we saw is that inflation then spiked at around 12% in the first year. It was about 125% inflation over the first 10 years, and then 228% inflation over the first 20 years after the war. Well, we can compare that to wages, and what we saw is that the median income in America did not keep up with the price growth of things, so the average person who was just relying on their salary became poorer because of the inflation problem. But what we saw is that asset prices didn't follow a straight line. What we saw is that in the first year, gold was the winning asset because gold prices not only outpaced real estate and stocks, but gold prices way outpaced inflation while the stock market got hammered. If we take a look at the first decade, what we see is that, again, gold prices were the winner. Now what we see is that real estate also outpaced inflation, but the stock market was still losing to inflation. But now when we take a look at a 20-year picture, what we see now is that the winner was the stock market, not gold, not real estate. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.